Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scale, Shay Dawson back at it.
Hey, it's Tyneeha. Miss you guys.
Miss you guys. Happy Sunday today, right?
Yeah.
But our listeners won't hear it until Thursday.
Yeah. Look, for me, this is my favorite time of the week. I always look forward to just spending this time together because this is special and I have so much fun that I literally count down days until we record again. So
No, I
super
literally
excited.
I get excited too. And I like to hear people be like, "Oh, you got your podcast, huh?" That means like that's like a compliment without saying that, they love it, but they'll
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, you got your podcast. I see you." Like, yeah,
You see us. Yes, you do.
you see us or you hear us, either one.
Or hear us. Exactly.
Right. So we got a good one today. Tania and I got together previously and we always talk about really, really deep things, fun things,
What's going on?
spicy things,
Yeah.
it just doesn't, what's going on in the world, just to get our inspiration to feed off of each other. And so we've got a good topic today, and I'm gonna let Tania open it up with some story time because she's got some good things to talk about today.
Well, so thanks for that, Shay. And I think, again, because oftentimes, and I know your friends that listen to our pod say the same thing, like the chemistry between you guys are awesome. And
Yes.
it's just not forced. Like Shay and I are true sisters. I love her. Like she came from my mama's womb.
Love you
And
too.
I just care about her. So when we talk, it's funny because we often experience the same things. And I was calling Shay. I'm like, so those of you who listened to the previous episode know that I'm on Hinge. A colleague of mine created a profile that kind of forced me to get out there. I actually had my first date on Friday. I'll get to that soon. That's funny.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. And this will be my first time hearing it too. So
Yes, I saved
we all
it.
will be hearing it for the first time. I didn't get to talk to her about it.
Exactly. So, but the inspiration came from just these folks who are reaching out to me on Hinge because the problem is people just don't want to be themselves. They believe they need to give you some version of who they are that makes the most sense for you, opposed to just truly being themselves. And that's really what we're going to talk about today is the topic of be yourself.
Be your damn self. Like you
Exactly.
were born to be you through and through, not to fit in, not to look like your neighbor. And I always say that too, like when I'm building my tribe, as I like to call it.
Mhm.
But being intentional about the people that I let in my space, the older I get, the more I'm very, very like, you have to bring positive energy. You have to bring just high vibrational energy and spirit. Like, but again, you got to know yourself. You got to be yourself in order to vibrate that high. So
Exactly.
like, I don't want someone who feels like they have to appeal to what I like. I love the differences between the two of us or three of us or five of us or six of us or however many people that we're all hanging out. And I do find a lot of times that people try to relate to you in a very cringy way.
Yeah, and it sucks. So
Yeah.
the funny thing is, so I have different guys reaching out to me on Hinge, and they believe
Tea out there, tea outside.
Right? Oh God,
Kinda.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
In the virtual outside.
Look, kinda. But the crazy part is, so got this dude, white. Now, people who know me, one, I don't care who you are. Like, love is love, and that spreads across race, gender, whoever, whatever it is. I just believe that you follow your heart and whatever direction that leads you, that's your person. So, I've dated outside my race before too. So whoever you are, you strong, you fly, you cool. Perhaps you can take me on a little date.
You can catch a vibe. Yeah.
Anywho, but the approach that some of these dudes are taking is just so whack and ridiculous. So I got this one guy who reached out to me. He's like, "Hey girl," like GURL. Like, you don't talk like that. Do you think I want you to reach out to me and say, "Hey girl," because that makes you like connect with me more? It's like, stop. Then I got some other dude who reached out. He's like, "Yo, shorty, I'm feeling those curves you got on ya, YA." You're like, I looked you up. Like, you're a whole attorney. I know you don't talk like that. So what, I mean,
What is it? Yeah.
why are you thinking that you have to talk to me like that? Is it
Right.
like, what is it on my profile that believes, that have you believing that you need to change your everyday conversation
Yeah.
to approach me? It's just crazy.
Yeah. So I definitely, and obviously there's no science to online dating.
Some
And
of them
I
are just straight
actually,
liars too. I mean, they
I
just
actually
nah,
have a
the
lot of people who
frauds.
have successful relationships.
I know.
So my
I
cousin and his
know.
girlfriend are like the best. They have 2 kids now, and they're just like the cutest. And
They met online.
they met on Bumble.
Okay.
So there's not a science, but there's definitely a trepidation or like a hesitancy to like put yourself out there too fast. So that's probably why you're seeing the yo girl, hey girl, or like
Shawty,
what's
what's
like,
up?
because you don't want to be, because you can't really convey how cool you are, right? Sometimes online, so you're trying to like give a little extra. So if you are on dating sites, like if you're corny or if you're chill or if you're like shy and you only are like a one liner, just do you, be you, because it's not going
People
to
can
be.
see right through it
Yeah.
too, right? Like we know when you're a pretender, and there's one thing to me that's sexy about just humans in itself is when you are just authentic and you are being your best self. Like that to me is sexy because you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to just be who you are
Yeah.
unapologetically about it. I mean, that's just you.
Yeah. And so crazy too, because when I think about the potential of like getting excited about messaging someone and then going on a date, like how many messages do you think you need to exchange first before you agree to go on a date? Like what made you say like, I'm going to agree to go on a date with this person that I've been messaging? Like what does someone have to, what does that look like, I guess?
So it's not a lot like back and forth because I am, me, Shay, I prefer to have a conversation. I'm not big on texting and
Yes.
messaging. It's
Right.
just not who I am. I want to hear you talk. I want to see how you can hold a conversation. So this gentleman and I, who by the way, I told him to come check out our pod, and then during our dates, like I feel like I need to have you sign an NDA because I don't want you
Telling
talking crap
my
about
business.
I don't want you talking shit about me on your podcast.
Hey, well.
And he really listened. I'm really proud of him because he came with so many facts and about he loved our love episode, and he loved the getting to know Shea and T, like our very first episode. So I said, one thing I like about old boy is he's a very good listener.
Yeah.
Because he knew just a lot. But I think after a little bit of banter, going back and forth, a couple messages, what I did, I said, hey, would you prefer to just have a real conversation? I said, let me know. And I think he texted me back, was like, yeah, here's my number. And I sent him my number, and we talked on the phone. It was great. It was a good conversation. And he's like, let's go out. Want to go out for drinks on Friday? And I said, yeah, sure.
Oh my God.
Be so proud of me.
So I know he'll probably be listening. We will not discuss, anything that you would not like us to discuss, but we just want to give an update.
So the first thing,
going in already. She was going already in.
I'm sorry, boo. I did tell you I warned you in advance. I mean, I just got to keep it real with our
You do got to keep it real. And that is you. You are
right.
You're a real one.
So my CEO, who I report to at my company, he was having Shabbat, and he said, you want to come over for dinner tonight? I was like, no. It was him and his daughter together. I was like, actually, no. I have a date. And he was like, they was looking at me like, oh almost like, like when a DJ scratch, the record scratches, like,
and stop. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's been legit like a year. Right. So he was like, oh, he's like, how did this come about? I think was his exact words.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, your daughter, she was the one standing there, my colleagues. I was like, she put me on Hinge. And I just said, hell with it. I'm going with it. And he said, oh, okay. I said, you want to see a picture of the guy I'm going out with? He said, yeah. I showed him a picture. He's like, oh, I know. That's so-and-so. I golfed with him. I was like, I don't know if I should cancel.
Wow. Small world.
Crazy, right? He was like, yeah, I went golfing with him, and he works for so-and-so company. Actually, I just emailed him the other day, and
But
I was
that's
like,
dope
okay.
that he can kind of give you a backstory, kind of make you like ease your
Exactly.
nerves a little bit too. Like,
Yeah.
I like that. That's the
Yeah.
universe conspiring for your greatest good.
So it was
Mm,
so I was already like I felt like not that I knew him, but I felt like I had a general understanding of who he was because
right,
Michael knew him. And Michael
right.
was like, pretty much was like, here's seems like a very nice guy and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay.
I
So
like
I
that.
went with that in mind. I knew I was gonna have a couple of drinks. I'm a lightweight, so I did not drive. I took an Uber. And when I got there, I walked in, I was like, okay, I had both of his daughters are texting. I had like so many people texting me, it's ridiculous, like throughout the entire time. So his daughters are texting me like one word. If you had to say one word about your date so far, by the way, it just started. They're like, what would you say? And I said attraction. Like I thought he was attractive, and
Yeah.
that started off on a positive note.
Yeah. Attraction is like the number one thing you don't know somebody. Like, oh, hi, you're cute. Great. Let's talk. Right. Like,
Mhm.
that's dope. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to, yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Look,
we'll
I'm
see.
open and nothing serious. It's just about making new connections and friendships. And if something turns into something later, then so be it.
Yeah. So,
I'm real cool and casual about it. Like
right.
whatever happens, happens.
Right. So when we talk about being you, being yourself, um I feel like you going on dates, you're always going to bring your authentic self.
Yeah.
What gives you the permission to BT all the way through and through and say what you have to say or do what you have to do? Like the last time you ghosted dude on the other date, you were just like, I'm out. Like that's me, right?
Well, no,
You had
and
no
how
remorse. Okay.
Well, the funny thing is the gentleman that I went out on a date with, he's like, "Oh, don't you worry. I'm not going to bang on the table. I'm not going to talk about my ex. Like we're good." And
Oh,
we
he
started laughing. I
referenced
was
your
like, "Oh
car.
my god, he did!" I was super proud. But I think for me, it's like I just want you to have a general understanding of who I am. And if you don't like that person, then you have the right to just move on. Like this is an introduction to Tania.
Yeah.
And you either are going to like Tania or you're not. Like, shit, there's parts about Tania that I don't like. It's just, I'm stuck with her. And,
Mm-hmm.
but,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to hide anything. Like, I'm going to show you truly who I am. And it's up to you to accept it or reject it. It's just simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And someone asked me maybe like a couple months ago, like, how would you describe yourself?
Oh my
And
God. I love this. Ha
I thought it was funny
ha.
because I didn't want to just say like, oh, I think I'm like this. So I described driving on the highway or the freeway or whatever you call it.
Okay.
And I also like to say like I'm never pressed, right?
Hmm.
Like so this is in reference to being myself. Like I'm
Hmm.
never pressed because what's for me is for me, no matter what.
Hmm.
Like I never have to feel like I need to, just cut anyone, talk about anyone, do any
Hate.
extra, to hate on
Yeah.
anybody. I never got to hate on
We're going
anybody.
Yeah, I
And we're
was
going
gonna
to get
say,
into
like,
that,
yes, I was gonna
right?
say we
We're going
have
to
to
get
get
into
into
that.
that because I'm seeing a lot of that
Yeah.
just in professional and personal relationships, and it's not cool. So we'll definitely get there.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, Shay, because we talked about this on previous episodes as well about how I am enjoying who you are and kind of who, over the years, like that journey. So now
Yeah.
you just don't give a damn. Like I love the little
Yeah.
TikToks that
It's
you're doing.
respectfully. It's
It's just
respectfully,
you're having
right?
fun
It's
and you just don't care what people think. And of course, like you're a professional. So anything you're going to do is going to be tasteful. It's not going to be crazy,
exactly.
but you're
Exactly.
having fun and
Right.
you're just letting your guard down is what I think I'm seeing
Yeah.
is you letting your guard down. And you weren't like, when I think back, let's just say 5 years ago, that's not something that you were willing to do. You were
Yeah. I was
just
trying to
this.
be what I thought
Mhm.
I needed to be,
Yeah.
right? Like I was doing that. I was doing that.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
to go back to the story that I was going to tell is like I'm the type of car on the highway or freeway that
Mhm.
if you're driving next to me and we're going the same speed and you're trying to get over, so you need to speed up past me. I'm not about to speed up so that you can't get over.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
and not to say that like my natural instinct is to be like, you can signal, and do all that is my natural instinct, but I do check myself and say, no, this person needs to get over. Who the hell am I to even try and like get in that person's way or impede in that person's way? They need to get off this freeway. So I have
Yeah.
learned that I'm the type of person that I'm constantly checking myself, but get over it. Like if you get to stop sign before me, or no, if I get stop sign before you and you're speeding, you get there after me, I'm gonna signal you to go because clearly you need to get somewhere,
You're in a
and
rush, boo. How
I'm gonna
about you
get
go?
I'm gonna get to where I need to get to, and you too, and it's not that deep, it's not that serious. Like so, I just say like that makes me think like I have to take that approach in life in
Mhm.
general because there's a
Yeah.
lot of hating that I could do. There's a lot of
Yeah.
pettiness that I could. Sometimes I do fight pettiness because I'm like, I could do this. But at the same time, I have to always check myself and say, no, I have to be me. And the me is the Shea Dawson experience. It's the best possible human experience one can provide person to person. I
Love
have
that.
to always remember that every single time when my human
Mhm.
elements come up, when jealousy comes up, when fear comes up, when all these feelings that are natural come up. Again, it's like checking myself and saying,
Yeah.
who are you? That's not who you are. You're not
Yeah.
petty. You're not going to call that person out and say that and spill all their information out in the street. You're not going to plot and plan and deviate from your own personal ledger, your own personal legend, or your own personal journey to just show that person that you were right. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that like learning about how to do that and to stay authentic to you is like so important. But I didn't get there by just like waking up one day.
I was
It
gonna say you
took
didn't fall into that. You didn't
no,
fall
no,
into that. It
it
took
definitely
time.
took people hurting my feelings and breaking my heart
Mhm.
and realizing that like no matter what, you're gonna get to your goal, Shay. Even if they hurt your feelings and you gotta start over again and again and again, it's for a reason. So I know that's long-winded, but just like trying to figure out who you are in a world of chaos and
Yeah.
still trying to be you. Like when people are wearing masks, how can you be you in a room full of people that are wearing masks and you feel pressure to put a mask on? You know what I
I
mean? Like,
know. Yeah.
so
I love it. And I
yeah.
think it just goes to the point of like letting your guard down, but at the same time, just letting go of fear. Because when sometimes when you're trying to impress people, you're fearful of how they would react
Yeah.
if you were yourself, like
Ooh,
potentially being judged, right?
that's deep.
Potentially being judged or just looked at through a certain lens
Mm-hmm.
because of how you're perceived. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just perception too,
Mm-hmm.
and one's own opinion that they formulate for whatever reasons that they have in their own head too. So it's like we have to find a way to let go of the fear, and that's not easy. Look, I'll be 45 this year, and almost being on this earth 45 years, there's still moments when fear kind of creeps in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think twice, sometimes I think about saying certain things and I'm like, I'll pause and I may hold back. And then, once I put it into perspective, I'll say, you know what, T, that's silly. Just say what you feel and mean what you say and let go. And that's
Mm.
what I've been really trying to do. And and not just in my professional life, but in my personal life as well.
Why do you think that's so hard to do? Um, for a lot of people, I mean, yeah, you kind of described it before, but like, why? Or I guess my other question, my better question is, why is shame
Mm,
so fearful than telling the truth? Like,
yeah.
why? Like, why is
That's good.
protecting yourself, your comfort of not being able to tell the truth? Why is that so much more? Why is it easier? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think too, and I won't speak for others, but I just know through my own experiences and then some friends too, because like a lot of people call me for advice as
yeah,
they do you as well.
yeah.
And a lot of it is people don't like being judged. And we, some of us have this, whatever we call it, but we want to impress other people. We want people to see us very positively.
Yeah.
And we can be, I know for me, speaking of myself, like there's times where fear will creep in because I I want you to walk away with positive feelings about me. And I realized, just like I said, it has taken me quite some time, but I realized that I care. Like, and not every experience is meant to be positive either. Doesn't mean you have to be rude, but friction is a part of the process.
Right.
And if you're not willing to allow some friction, then you have to grow up. It's just as simple as that because that's part of
Right.
the process. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I definitely can attest to that too. And like, I don't know. I've been reading a lot lately too. I think that has a lot to do with my just inability to really care about what people say or think. And also coming from an intentional place when moving it around the world. And there are times when I do like make mistakes or I feel like I overshare
Yeah.
or, and I'm like, damn, like, shouldn't I have done that? But then I'm like, that's me. I have to go back and like, I am an overshare when it comes to my personal
Me
self,
too. I
right?
feel like
Like
I do it. Yeah.
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
Ebony Foltz, Markel's mom, one of my best friends. She actually taught me how to just like make a statement and leave it there. Because
Yeah.
it was that awkward silence that I felt like I had to always fill with words.
Mm,
And
mm.
she told me
That's
that
deep.
like sometimes you give people too much to hurt you, right? And that's one thing I learned too. So that I'm still being me, but it's also you got to understand how to protect yourself too from people who don't have that same or not going to give you that same grace, who are looking to
Mm.
find things to hate on
I call
you.
them fault finders.
Yeah, or to hate on you, right? Just to hate on and maybe they're not happy with themselves, but they, and so she just said like if you have to say no, just say, not right now or no, I can't do it. Before I would give a whole explanation of why I can't do it or why I said no.
Mm.
No, not really, because in this and this and this and this.
Giving a
And
whole
she's
dissertation. It's like,
right.
it's just
And
no,
she's like,
but
Shay,
no.
your boundary is no. So it is just that. No,
I
thank
love
you.
that. Shout out to Eb. We got
Right?
to
Shout
bring
out
you
to
on,
Ebony.
Eb. We got to bring you on, Ebony.
No, she's coming. She's coming.
Okay,
she's
good.
super busy right now, but she's definitely coming. But it's like, it's so hard to be like, no, I'm okay. And then that awkward silence, because then they're like, she's used to saying yes all the time. Like I'm used to hearing Shay say yes all the time. Or just being like, sure, I'll do it or whatever. And, it's just like, no, I'm good.
And that's it. And I'm moving on.
And I'm working on it. I'm still working on it. And I will say no. And it'll be that. But then I'll be like, when I go home, I'm like, I should have just,
maybe I could have taken on
I could have, right?
Yeah.
Like I had the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then after, let's say a week's go by, I'm like, no, like I'm really proud of myself for just not overextending myself. Like I was talking to you about like a crazy schedule coming up in February and like just being like, it's not going to work. I can't do it. And being okay with that you can't make everything Tyneeha. You can't make everything Shay. As much as we want to spread ourselves thin.
Running
and
ragged
remembering that that's okay.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because my son is classic at he will call me on a Tuesday and like, oh, pull up on a Wednesday. And pull up is like in Phoenix, a 5.5 hour flight. And I'm busy. I have meetings and I try before.
Does he text you to pull up?
Now he'll call me and he'll be like, oh, sometimes he never wants to admit either if he misses me sometimes. So he'll say, oh, Sonny misses his mom, the dog.
Oh.
I'm like, I know it's you. It's okay. You can miss your mom, Mikkel. It's
so
safe.
Cute.
It's a safe space, boo.
I don't know about now. You sharing it with the world.
He's like, really, Tyneeha? But yeah, I listen, you know me, I miss him and Sonny all the time. So I'm always super excited to get there. But at the same time, because most people know Mikkel calls, I drop everything and just like, okay, here I come.
Right.
But now it's like, maybe I can't come on a Wednesday. Maybe I'll come on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But I can't come right away because I have these
drawing your boundary with him,
pressing priorities.
Right.
And I just can't drop everything. I'm going to get there because spending time with him makes me happy, brings me joy in my life. But also I have to keep in mind my other priorities and things that I have going on and just put that into perspective.
Yeah. I mean, at Mikhail's age and being an adult, the fact that he still wants you around is a feat of its own. Like, it's great.
I know.
Because there's a lot of people who, you know, once they get older, they're out of the house. Love you, mom. I'm out. My brother's the same way, just as Mikhail too. Like, my mom about to go to Turkey. My brother's in Turkey. She's about to go to Turkey, but then she go say, yeah, I want to come visit you before I go there. I'm like, yeah, make sure you come visit your daughter too, because, you know, her and Malcolm, they besties.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I don't know I keep hearing, one of my colleagues said, she says to me all the time, it's just a certain thing that moms has with their sons, and their sons are their favorite. I only have one child, so I can't relate. Mikhail is my only child. So of course he was kind of spoiled very early on, but I know my brother he's definitely my mom's favorite. She's like, oh, I love all my kids. Stop. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because when I told you I was sick, you was like, oh, you should drink some vitamin C, blah, blah, blah. She didn't come her tail over here. Next thing I know, she's like in the car coming to my brother's like, my brother's sick. She don't know what it is. She don't care. She's just like running to go get her son.
She's like, my son's sick. But I mean, I will say my mom, I don't know. I think I'm her favorite. I don't know.
Wow.
But
you hear
Malcolm
that?
Is definitely, I know. Malcolm could be like,
I'm
what?
sorry for this.
But the thing is, Malcolm is both our favorite. So like, I talk about my mom and how much they're close, but like, I don't call out myself because, like, obviously, like, I literally cry when I watch videos of my brother on Instagram.
Oh, no, I listen.
Like, it's so crazy.
It's just, listen, it's funny because Mikhail played the Wizards last night. So I went with some colleagues. We had a good time. Even though they kicked their behinds.
Yeah, they're still trying to build.
Poor thing. They'll get there. It takes time.
Things. Yeah.
It takes time. But when I was watching him, I always like this is his fourth year.
I know.
And his fourth season. And I still tear up when I see him out there. Like, I just smile because it just brings me so much joy. So
yes.
I can understand that. I love my brother. My brother and I are close as well. And I think about, just his journey, and he had some rough patches, and then to see him just be so successful right now. Like, sometimes I just tear up just thinking about him and my son. It's funny because we're on this text thread together, and we joke and come at each other. So they call me Detective Rivers because I'm always in their business.
Surprise.
So they're like, oh, Detective Rivers is looking for us. She's tracking us. You want to know our 411? They just joke using all these cop words and stuff. It's just not. It's just.
We have each other's locations, so I don't even gotta worry about.
Sometimes I get mad because it's not even funny. So I was sending them rat emojis today because my brother always tells my mom whatever I do. He makes sure he tells my mom everything, and it's annoying. And my son does the same thing. So I was late to the game, and I think he was looking for me because I said, "Oh, I got some really good seats. I'm going to be on the floor." And he was like, I think he was looking for me. He didn't see me, so we locked eyes when I got there. And he was like, he had mouthed from the court, like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was late," And he's like, just flagged me off. And then, what do you know? I get a call this afternoon. Just don't even say hello. Pick up the phone. You need to do a better job. If not, my grandson, he's looking for you out in those stands, and it's just not okay when you're late and he doesn't see you. So you could do a better job of, managing your time and getting to my grandson's game on time. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So I called old boy. I said, "You're a rat.
Wow.
Not cool." So I sent him. I've been calling
it rat emojis.
I said, "Master Splinter and Jerry are y'all. What y'all eating? Y'all cheese right now? Because y'all some straight up rats."
Hilarious. I love that.
But I say all that because when people that we love, we adore them, and it's definitely going to pull at our heartstrings for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's how I know like the meaning of love, because I'm like, when you're that happy and that proud of somebody, and you always want to tear up, it's like.
We love.
So if you got to meet those standards, like out here, like if we friends and all that, I want to have that same adoration. Like when I see you, and I do get genuine, like how we feel about coming on this podcast.
Yeah, it's so
that's the only kind of friends I really want. Like I want to be excited and happy to see you.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not negating the fact that like we might hurt each other's feelings, we might get on each other's nerves, but if I love you, you can get on my nerves. I'll get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
stuff
I'll figure it out.
happens. Again, that's why I said friction is part of the process, and you are going to have some tough times with people. And that's, I was talking to one of my cousins because she has a friend and I think they kind of fell off. But I said to her friend, and I said the same thing to her, is like, don't let that destroy your relationship. You guys been friends for over 30 years. That's crazy.
Right.
To let one situation, which really was a disagreement between the two of them, get in the way of your friendship. That's crazy to me. Like when you love someone, part of that love is forgiveness. And people are going to fall short and disappoint you in your life, but you have to be willing to forgive them. And when you don't forgive, you can't heal. So we have to do better at that.
No, definitely part of the healing process. And then I also realized too that when people hurt your feelings, like closure is a scam. Like accept it, figure out what you want to do with it, and move on. You learn from it. I love that. Right? You don't lose anyone. You always learn.
Drop us some gems.
You know. So we want to talk about, well, I know Tyneeha and we had a couple conversations just about haters in general. Like people who hate on another person.
Why? Yeah. Like, why are we doing that?
Even a thing? Like, I don't understand. Like, what would you describe as a hater? Like,
it's like when you are going out of your way to either make someone look bad or speak negatively about someone, or just to shine a negative light on someone else. Like, damn, who hurt you? Why are you so angry and upset and bitter?
Right.
That you want to make someone else look bad. Sad.
Right. Which goes back to being yourself.
Soul.
If you yourself, you do not have to hate on anyone. Like, you literally don't. Because like I said, like, there's 5, 6, 10 lanes on a highway. We all got one. Stay in yours. Lane. Do your own thing. Like, stop hating on other people. And it's just like a lot. Like, I look on social media and I'm just like, I just always see a bunch of hate. Just like in comments, headlines, media stuff. I'm just like, why do people have to put so much energy into like downing other people, as if none of us are human, as if all of us are perfect? You know what I mean? Like, it just irks me because we're a culture today, a world culture, not specifically subcultures, but the culture of the world today is like hateful and just like cancel culture. And instead of having a conversation, an educated conversation, or a conversation of just questions, I'm like, I said this because I wasn't informed, and I wasn't informed. Please correct me. Or if they're not even willing to be corrected, that someone can put the information out there. Like, okay, well, let's talk about it. What is the correct information? Because people assume that you are supposed to know all the rules in every culture, subcultures, all these communities. Like, no, like you grow up one way learning something. Someone else grows up another way. There is a preconceived notion of what you're like, what you like, who you relate to. So if you hurt someone's feelings, like, let's stop hating on them and let's just educate. Like, like, I hear what you're saying. You're dead ass wrong, but this is how it is. And again, too, like, not every community and every person is monolithic either. So there's different types of people out there within communities. Like,
that's right.
So it's just like, I just hate going online and seeing so many judgmental, hateful things. And I'm just like,
it's a sad world we live in. I mean, look what happened with people who, when you follow some of those stories and you hear about some of those stories on social media where people may take their own life, or it's just, or they even consider it, because so many hateful things are being said by others on social media. And I just think, like, wow, like, do you have nothing else better to do in your life than to bring sadness and bring drama upon someone else's world? Like, why is your life so sad that you have to go out of your way to bring upon hurt to someone else's life? Like, you are a really sad, miserable person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of people also act like they're victims. Like, you are not a victim of whatever circumstances. Like, it's all mental. Like, in terms of like,
Mhm.
okay, because you're on social media, you're looking at someone get money, or their life is elevating, or it's perceived that it is, because a lot of people can make things up. That's why people have to get off of social media and get out there in the real world, put some prayer behind that grind, and make the things
Okay.
happen for you, because
Yes.
it definitely is not
Yes.
going to just
Love
happen by
that.
looking on social media and like
Mhm.
and talking about someone and what they're doing, and a lot of people know way more about other people on social media than they know about themselves.
That's
Like, I think
sad.
I
That
saw a
makes
quote
me
that said,
I feel sorry for you if that's the case. I really do.
right. No, I literally saw a quote. It said something like, this is the age of selfies, but people don't even know self. Like, you don't
Wow.
even know who you are in this world. Do you even know who you are going to be when virtual reality is like social media? Like, you can't even, no, we're not just opening our phones anymore. We're literally going into the meta. Like, people don't realize that. Like,
Hmm.
if you don't have your mind, you have nothing.
Wow.
If you
That's
spend
right.
most of your time, you're going to be lost.
Pretending to, like, that's what we
Pretending.
when we talked when we started off talking about being yourself, but if you're so I think people are become so delusional because they have told these lies, or they are in this fantasy land for such a long period of time that they
Right.
actually believe that
Right.
they are who they say they are
Right.
because they've been going with that for so long. And what a sad place to be, if you don't know who you are, if you have to pretend to be someone else to fit in. It's like we got to stop that nonsense. Like
Hmm.
we are all blessed with many different talents. You know, we're shaped and made into beautiful human beings, and all of us are different and unique for a purpose. So
Yeah.
find your purpose and live in that.
Yeah. But I think also, too, people want it now. They don't want to
Hmm.
wait. They don't want the process to process. They want everything is instant,
Quick. Yeah.
quick and
Yeah.
instant. And I think
Hmm.
knowing who you are, it just doesn't happen overnight. It happens through the mistakes that you make, um, through the, broken hearts that you're gonna experience, or not
Mm.
getting the things that you think you want, that you want them just because you want them, but not because it's best for you. Like, it's a process. That's why it's called aging. Aging, is a
Mm.
beautiful thing. And I'm really, really enjoying the aging process of getting older and killing off those old parts of me that no longer serve
Exist.
me, or that I'm
Yeah.
attracted to, or that attract the right things in my life. And I think the right things are different for everybody, but the right things for me are just anything that fills me up, anything that gives me energy, anything that allows me to continue to be kind to others, and
Mhm.
to just make sure I'm being thoughtful in my work, in my writing, in my gesture, like whatever it is, I'm making sure that I'm giving that bright energy to it. And it could be something for other people as well, but I think just a lot of deep reflection needs to go on to understand who you are, to how to be, to learn how to be yourself, to be
Mhm.
you, to fight the urge to hate on others or be petty, or all of those things that are very easy to do. And my fiance's coach always told us and told him that, like, doing the right thing every day is hard to do. It's
It
difficult,
is.
but you have to
Yeah.
choose it.
Make that decision if
Right.
that's what you wanna do. I think and one more thing too that I add to that is just let go. Like, again, we gotta how many people do you know, or that are either friends of yours or colleagues, that hold on to so much baggage that it gets so bad that they're tripping over their own baggage
Yeah.
because they
A
just
lot.
won't let it go. You know, someone
How do
offended
you let it
them.
go, though? What are some things that you can
Yeah, I think it
do to let
starts
it
with
go?
yeah, I think it starts with forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the things I wanted to bring in a coach for our executive team, because sometimes, there's just friction. And what I would love to see is more collaboration, because why we're not collaborating is 'cause people want to either A, be in the light of our CEO. Like they try so hard. Like, I just want to be in his sunlight. I want to get a glimpse of the sun. They want to be in that space. And it's the mentality that I will do whatever it takes to get there, opposed to how do we all get there together? Because when you think about a cohesive team, everyone has different um, opportunity areas and have blind spots. But what makes you a kick-ass team is that when you're filling in, you're seeing the blind spots for your colleague, and then you are complimenting them in those areas there where they may be weak. And it's going to happen. Like none of us are going to be strong in everything that we do, but if we can be more supportive of one another and fill in those gaps, then wow, I mean, wouldn't we just be amazing together? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem
Mm-hmm.
that I see that happens in my very own workforce. And I've seen it before where, even in sports, I mean, we live and breathe sports. We love it. It's a part of who we are. But the best teams know how to complement each other and get shit done and stop worrying about individual stats.
Mm-hmm. And I think it starts with, well, first removing your ego,
Hmm.
right? And stop trying to say and grab what's for you, and understand that there will be more for you to grab and more for you if you share um in that with others, right?
100%.
Helping to uplift others, like you said, in areas that someone might be not so strong in, but communication and ownership. I think a lot of the times people want to lead, but leaders also have to be doers too, right? So as a leader, what are you communicating and what are you owning? That way everyone knows what part of the pie that they're owning. And I
Yeah.
think when those things, when communication and ownership are not um, brought brought to the forefront, meaning they're not called out, then you can't collaborate. The only way I can collaborate is if I know if everyone understands the rules, if everyone's on the same page, and then I know what part of that job I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I love how you said pretty much setting your ego aside, because you have to have humility. Like that's just so important that I used to, back when we were working at the Sixers, I used to say to the CEO, we used to talk to Scott, we said we don't want to hire talented jerks, because that's true. Like
Yeah.
um you can be amazing at whatever you're doing. So whatever your functionality is or whatever space you're in, you can be amazing at whatever. So let's say you are in marketing and you are the best brand and marketing person we have ever seen.
Right.
But if you don't know how to be humble and check your ego out at the door, then your own selfishness will get in the way of your success.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to be humble. I've read this book called The Ideal Team Player. It's by Patrick Lencioni. He also wrote Five Dysfunctions of a Team. But
Ooh.
he talked
Let me get
about
that.
that in order to be the ideal team player, you have to be humble, hungry, and smart. And it all starts with that humility, because
Right.
people egos are bigger than the moon oftentimes.
Right, right, and that's what I was, go takes me back to that story about driving on the freeway. Like, if I had an ego, I would try to race every car that gets next to me or wants to go faster than me, or I got to the stop sign first, so it's my turn. And you know how you drive into the middle of the intersection because you're trying to prove to that person.
Hmm.
No, it's no ego.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do you?
Now,
Go ahead.
I would say the other side of that too that makes me think, Shay, is sometimes, especially being a Black woman, where in the past I've had to really prove myself. So sometimes I think that can be misconstrued as, oh, this chick is full of herself. When because you guys can't see my worth, I'm going to show it to you so you can
Mm,
understand who I am. So please don't mistake that as it's an ego. It's a place that I have to tap into because your inability to see it for yourself.
mm.
Yeah.
That's definitely a very, very hard thing to balance.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't believe in balance here on this show anyway. So it's a very, very difficult thing to even harmonize with business,
Mm-hmm.
with the go-getter mentality, with getting shit done. And it just like, I feel like a lot of Black women constantly have to brag about the shit that they're doing because it's not recognized otherwise. Like, I have to be like, excuse me, hello, yes. Like, you wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for me. Why do I have to do that? Why is it not automatically recognized?
Or respected. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally hear you. Like, and so I'm just not into that anymore. I'm just gonna show more than I can tell you, you know?
Proof's in the pudding, baby. That's
proof's in the pudding, because it's like, I'm tired of jumping up and being like, look at me. Mm-hmm. You know, and
you
it's
gotta
like,
see
okay.
it for you. Yeah. But if you have to be checked, that will happen too. Like, there's often times where people need a reality check, and I don't mind giving it to you in a very respectful way.
Someone sent me a really good quote too.
Oh, find it.
I know, I gotta find it, but it definitely was speaking to kind of what we were talking about just now. Like, oh Lord Jesus, people don't even. Oh, okay. It says Mood All Black History Month. Oh, Anna sent me this. My friend Anna, shout out AKJ.
Hey Anna.
This looks like Mood All Black History Month. This looks like questioning a Black woman's spending, questioning her interests and priorities, directly or indirectly asking her to do less, be less, want less, suggesting she isn't ready for what she says she's ready for, demanding her respect without extending any, feeling surprised if she seems better off than you.
Wow.
Redirecting her away from the things she wants. A lot of you do this. It doesn't go unnoticed and it doesn't go unpunished.
Love that. Anna, that's some fire Mic drop. There.
She came across that and shared that with me, and I thought, wow, how powerful that is. Because a lot of the times too, as a Black woman, you just stay silent. It's hard to articulate what you're feeling. And it's oftentimes sometimes made to feel like you're over dramatic.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you're being emotional. How many times have I heard that? And it's nothing more frustrating to me when I hear, oh, why you gotta be so emotional? Why are you being emotional about the situation? Or you're overreacting to your point. Is like, don't mistake my passion for being emotional, because if I was someone else different than who I am, you wouldn't be questioning if I was a man. So don't misinterpret or misunderstand or take my passion to be anything than what I show you it is.
Yeah.
And that's the problem sometimes too, especially in a workplace, in a corporate setting, is that anytime we show a little bit of passion, it's like, oh my gosh, the angry Black woman's on fire. Please, someone get the fire hose, put that fire out of her immediately before she sets the whole damn building on fire.
Right. No, definitely. and then also trying to figure out, like, am I acting like a victim? Or am I valid in feeling the way I feel?
Yes.
Or you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that balance of like, am I crazy? Am I being?
Is it me?
Am I being sensitive?
Yes.
Am
I? My gosh, Shay, I've heard that too. Oh, don't be overly sensitive. You offended me. You said something that just was totally not right. So I need you to know that, but again, it's like, oh, you're just being sensitive. It's like,
and I also find myself constantly being like,
is it me? Am I going crazy? Is it me?
Right? Like it's I don't even have the words to describe all the things that I feel or that I experience, that I go through, that I watch happen dead in front of my eyes.
Crazy.
Because I think I'm still just like taking notes and like trying to process it every time something happens to me, where I'm like, okay.
It's like, is this really happening?
Yeah, like keeping score of like, okay, how many people were going to dismiss what I say today? Or how many people are going to dismiss the information that they already know, that they have, that we sat down, we've spoken about, and do something completely different?
Yeah. I mean,
because it doesn't come from a man, because it comes from me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear a man say it and you're like, but I already
And
brought
it's
that to your
totally
attention.
perceived totally
so
differently. Exactly. It's like, oh, thanks, John. That's a great idea. You're like,
until you stop saying things, and then people are like, so what do you think? Oh, you want to know what I think? You want to know like what's in this head? No, you don't get to pick that my brain anymore. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry. Next.
Next.
So, I mean, okay. So we talked about today the importance of really being you, being yourself, and stop hating. Like we got to stop hating, collectively. And I think three, a big part of that too. So we talked about forgiveness, being able to let shit go and not let it occupy unnecessary space in your head.
Accept it and move on.
Accept and move on. Exactly. And I think another part of that too is when we think about us, and I'm going to talk to women right now because I think we can do a better job of supporting one another.
Yeah, we definitely can
and
do that.
when we talk about like stop that hating, it's like once you put that aside, then how can we support one another? How can I lift you up? You have a business. How can I help support your business? You're up for a promotion. How can I speak very positively and give feedback so other people know how great you are? Yeah. So I think that we collectively, myself included, can do a better job of supporting someone else. And oftentimes I'm running. I'm in my space. I'm doing a lot of things, right. But I have to pause and think about, just like I've made it to a certain level, how can I help extend a hand and bring somebody else up here with me?
Yep. I'm constantly thinking about that too. I get DMs all the time. Hey, Shay, listen to your podcast, or hey, Shay, I like the quotes that you post. And a lot of the times I get it when I'm either about to get in the shower because I'm like checking my last minute, messages, or about to watch a game, and I, send a quick note and say, hey, thank you for the message. Exactly. I really appreciate you for paying attention and watching. Can't answer fully and thoughtfully the way I want to now, but I'll reach back out. And so I constantly find myself too, like, okay, before I talk to this person and reach back out, how can I add some value? And what I started doing was, a lot of people, obviously it's about career and how to make the right choice. Yeah. And I've learned a thing or two about that. So I get real excited when I get to share that. And I think I was talking to a girl earlier today, and it was just about like, a lot of people, and this goes for a lot of us, we know how to do a lot of things. We have a lot of interests, but what I've learned over the years is how to reverse engineer what it is. So you have to get really clear with that goal, right? And that goal is really your purpose in life, because you can do it in any industry. Like my thing is humans. Obviously, that's a broad spectrum. So when I'm trying to find, obviously a career that's going to help me pay my bills and also help me just live life in society, I chose athletes because it's niche. I came from an athlete community, athlete family, athlete background. You raised brothers athlete yourself. Yes. Athlete myself, raised brothers in the same thing. So male sports, male basketball is my thing. But at the same time, I'm taking all of that and learning all of that as a small focus to eventually one day bring it to the rest of humanity in some form, some way. I don't know, but that's like my overarching goal. So I always tell people, like, get really niche and really specific, but the purpose has to be in the middle and the core of all of that. So when we're helping people, like, that's what I say is like reverse engineer that. So yeah, you want to work in athlete relations, you used to study communications, you got to major in science. Okay, well, you're never going to find out what you want to do. What's the main thing? Are you trying to improve the way we, get rid of garbage in this world? Are you what is your actual goal and purpose tied into one another? And then reverse engineer that. Go, intern at a company that's, biochemical, or and then you can tailor towards that. Kind of like what Jordan Gertler was saying last episode. It's like, yeah, you want to be an agent. That's what you really want to do. That's the end goal. But all the ways to get in are different things, but the goal is the same. You got to meet people. You got to network. That's your
overarching goal. Right. But in order to get to your overarching goal, you have little mini goals that you have to accomplish before you get there.
And it doesn't matter where you get them from.
Yes.
You just got to make sure you're getting them in all different places. So my point was to what you said was, when I'm thinking about how to always help people and, like you said, bring people up with me, sometimes it's about storytelling, but it's also about like strategic moves. And so I'm always trying to think about how to compact that into bite-sized information where I can say, focus on this, and focus on this. And then we'll revisit the things that you've done. Right? Like, so just giving small goals to people based on the things that I've experienced. And then you have to test it out in your environment for you, because I'm not you. I can't live your life. I don't have your same energy. And then we come back and we talk about the things you learned from those little like goals. So just like constantly trying to map out how to help people that way is like kind of something that's on my mind too.
I love it.
It's a long-winded way, but
well, I think it was necessary, and someone out there needed to hear that for sure. So I think as we end our episode today is, just be mindful of, and ask yourself, when was the last time you supported someone? And if not, then how can you think about your next opportunity? And support can look, there's no one way that support is defined, right? Like it could be making a call for someone, speaking on their behalf. It could be tapping into your network and reaching out to a few people that has already reached out to you and has, like Shea said, we get hit up all the time for advice or career, whatever.
Right.
How can you, reach out to someone in that space? But I think we all know how important support is, and none of us will be where we are today if it wasn't for someone else supporting us. So just be mindful of you're needed too. Like, you have to do your part, and don't forget that no matter how successful you are or how busy you are, the expectation is that you will help someone else along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been super. I mean, this hour went by super fast.
So fast.
Yeah, but listen, I just want to thank you guys for joining us each and every week. Like, this is what Shea and I love to do. And one day this is all we're going to do.
Yeah.
Let that manifest. Okay. One day
we about to do the damn thing. One day.
One day this will be the only thing we do. But until that happens, we will continue to carve out time in our world to spend this time with you. And we just thank you for continuing to hang in there with us. And listen, if there's a topic that you care about that's near and dear to your heart, or you have questions, whatever it is, please continue to reach out to us. Follow us on Instagram at Tipping the Scales. I'm Tyneeha L. Rivers. Shea?
Overtime Shea. Yeah. I got tons of pages, but Overtime Shea is the one you can follow.
She does. I be trying to follow like all of them. I'm like following all of Shea pages.
They're like my future businesses. I don't have time to focus on them now, so I kind of just do what I can. But Overtime Shea is my main page. That's where I post all my quotes and my thoughts for the day.
Awesome.
So that's where you can find us, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple important. Podcasts, Spotify. We're over there. So just leave us a review. Rate us, let us know how we're doing, and like we said, eventually we're gonna level up and we're gonna do some real cool things. So I can't wait until we can get out there in the world and do some live episodes too. So
stay tuned. Love you guys.
Have a
good one. See ya. Thanks.
Later.
Bye.